drifting in Need for Speed Unbound has changed forever. And maybe so has the meta car for drifting. Not only has the way that drifting works changed, but the way that the cars become OP for drifting has kind of changed as well. The idea of drifting in the previous one was to basically have the car wheel spin as much as possible. As long as the car had broken traction, well, it counted as a slide. While that's still technically the case, now the aim is to have one slide as large angle and for as long as possible. Now, while you can pretty much use anything you would like, and we're still kind of figuring out exactly what the metas are, there are definitely some differences between how the cars sort of feel. Now, it's worth noting on this car specifically, I've got the steering sensitivity on high. I'm going to put it to the middle, but I've noticed the 350, no matter where you put it, it seems really snappy back and forth. It will dart in the direction you throw it very, very easily, and it's a way to kind of mungy back and forth and quite aggressively get some proper angle, sometimes maybe too much. Now, that's actually a real quirk for this car. So this car used to be meta with the old handling in a different way, because it used to keep really smooth maintained drifts, and unlike the Corvette where you could do the snip snappy, so they've almost swapped. Now, currently I've got this car in S class, and I would actually highly recommend you check it out. Definitely do. The build was originally made by Dabuster and Magic IQ, I believe. We actually covered this in a previous video, but obviously the only thing I've really changed here is I've actually put on the new drift tires and to see how it would perform. That's why it's got a V8 in it. Otherwise, I definitely wouldn't have done that, to be honest. So the best cars I have found thus far are actually Criterion's cars. So introducing my absolute favorite drift car to use from Go is this, the Lamborghini Huracan. It is back. I think the guy left the race, so it's just going to be me, clean sailing. So this one is actually a Rydell's Rides car, which, hey, fair enough. I've actually not built my own car yet, but the characteristics of this car are actually pretty interesting. So here's my findings. It doesn't seem to be specific cars that are OP as such. It seems to be more layout, drivetrain, and, well, I guess characteristics of the car. This Huracan has by far been my absolute favorite in terms of getting these clean, beautiful slides. This, and I am sure the Audi R8 is going to be very, very similar in the case. I'm actually going to build one of these in this video, but you can see it's just butter. Absolute butter. Now, I'm kind of hoping that this is no special build, and it doesn't seem like that's actually going to have a huge difference. It feels like you get a sort of power slide sometimes, which you don't tend to get with the rear-wheel drive factory vehicles. Pause. This car is actually rear-wheel drive. It's this one right here, the rear-wheel drive Huracan. Now, I don't want to spend all day explaining the story of the Huracan and how the all-wheel drive one used to be better, and then the rear-wheel drive one, and then you swap the things and you do the thing. The drifting absolutely converts the cars to be all-wheel drive to an extent. The bias seems to be different from what I can tell. It might not be, but either way, it feels like there's some kind of element there. But if you're looking to see which Lambo you should buy, is the rear-wheel drive one. Weird. Sometimes it's a bit of a nightmare, but I guess that's where some tips can come in as well. Make sure you build up that power shot NOS to correct some mistakes. Basically, in any car, the power shot is actually really useful. Do remember, it does grip up more than you think, though, so a lot of the time you're trying to start to drift again, you can't drift while you're doing power shot NOS. But back to the Lamborghini specifically. If you want to drift like you look like you know what you're doing and actually top the charts, borrowing the Criterion cars seems to be a good shout. They've done some testing and they've clearly found the same findings that I've seemed to have too in this past couple of days, so far. All-wheel drive will give you a, well, all-wheel drive style slide, at least more of, because everything seems to be all-wheel drive-esque. And I think, to be honest, across the classes, these rules are all going to stay pretty much the same. Drifting in lower-end cars is always a little bit more difficult, but I would always suggest bring up your boost. Throw in a supercharger, make it so that you're boosting pretty much all the time and consistently. That's a way that superchargers are a little bit different from turbochargers. If you have a big turbocharger, you're going to have inconsistent sliding because you're going to have no boost and then all the boost. Twin turbos is another way to do it. It's a little bit more linear, but superchargers would probably be the best way, unless you don't need one at all, like this Lamborghini. So I personally am definitely going to be building one of the Lamborghinis, but I'm also probably going to try an Audi R8. I'm sure it'll actually be pretty damn similar. And for the sake of this, I'm actually going to test it live right now. I actually have a Huracan, but I don't want to convert it to drift. So I'm actually going to buy another one with my 13 million that I've been grinding out. Right, Drift Pro tires. Let's equip it. I've changed nothing else. It's in S-Class, which is very similar to where the Huracan is. Also, have you noticed that the events are actually labeled wrong? The Huracan event I was just in is an S+ event, but all the cars are S. Because of the tires, it degrades the class, and so it doesn't, it's almost like a new part doesn't account for the score. All right, let's check it out. Now, I've changed nothing other than the tires is a setup that I made just for pure grip. And, well, I guess you have no access to the other sliders. My initial thoughts, it feels similar to the Huracan, but maybe has a little bit more of a rear bias. It definitely feels slower than the Huracan did, but I may have gone big single turbo, as I kind of advised against doing anyway. Just to clarify, you can't change the handling slider. The steering sensitivity is in the middle. Downforce, let's turn the downforce down. Oh, that feels a little bit better. So it still has the power slide feel as I was talking about, but maybe a little bit more so, with a little bit less in terms of the control element that the Huracan seems to bring. It might just be a power thing. Honestly, I think it is just down to power being different. They definitely feel pretty similar, but you know, it kind of makes me think, I wish Criterion would let us buy as a starter vehicle the Rydell's cars. Let us buy the rental vehicles, and I think that would be pretty damn handy. This one might have better control in terms of, it might just be because it's slower. Okay, so all-wheel drive clearly has a bit of an advantage here. It being naturally all-wheel drive is the only thing it can really distinguish that makes a huge difference. But there's also another class of car that pops up and it's really, really good. One of them returning, one of them, well, I never tested originally. For clarity, this one was naturally aspirated, so maybe that's why. Like, I just don't know what they've put in their Lamborghini. That's right, we're going from all-wheel drive to this, a Mustang. You might have noticed a lot of people using these Mustangs, and there is a reason for it. So what do we got? BMW M2 behind us and another BMW. My friends, the bias of muscle cars holding drifts, holding wheel spin is forever prevalent in this damn game. They cannot escape it. It seems like muscle car oriented vehicles, so big V8 at the front, so just like the BMW M3 is very similar, it seems like the muscle car style is working incredibly well for drifting in this game. It's also worth noting that obviously an upgraded version of the car would perform better, in that mine is, well, down, but the actual DLC Mustang is also seeming to be very similar in terms of performance. Any version of like a modern Mustang, which clearly the old Mustang was kind of just built upon the previous one, seems to be doing pretty well. Big V8 in the rear, rear wheel drive, big engine up front. It's always been the way, and clearly it's still the way. It just slides so well, and it's very different, you can see, to how the Huracan slides. It's very much more rear wheel biased compared to the Huracan that almost just like power slides through everything. What a machine! Love me a big old V8 motor or a new one. I don't discriminate, new or old, the V8 is king. Right, things we're gonna test live right here is this Huracan. I have just bought a Huracan. It's a convertible version because I think it looks a little bit cooler, and yet we've got the slides that we know and love. Super smooth, super buttery. If anything, we're converting this Lamborghini back to what it should have been from the very start. All-wheel drive. It is sacrilege to change it, but I'm guessing it's essentially then got more of a bias, and the engine's sitting on the back, and I don't know if it gets that complicated. It's Need for Speed. But from go, it definitely has the feel that I'm looking for, and I haven't upgraded it at all. I can definitely feel that it's slower than the ones I've been using. But, mate, look at the slides that it's doing. What the? And then the Mustang, which is actually the new Mustang. Oh, boy, it is so good. These are two cars that I definitely think I might just populate the whole damn every single class with it. This one's actually sat in S+, and you can definitely tell. I think for slower speeds, well, obviously the Mustang, obviously going for a muscle car or a BMW M3, something like an M2, something that basically is muscle car coupe-esque. European muscle or whatever doesn't really matter. This one is actually supercharged as well, so not just visually, actually supercharged as well. We built it previously. If you want to see the actual full build of this, well, it's already out there. So everything just kind of aligns. It's a Huracan or a muscle car-esque. Just for the sake of randomness, I'm gonna pick a front-engined, rear-wheel drive V8 car like this, the C63. Go into rides, load up the new Drift Pro tires, and would you look at that, sliding up the wazoo, holding that slide in a way you would kind of expect from an A+ car. This is my A+ drift car. I've just built my A+ drift car just like that. Okay, but no, I really want to build my Huracan as well. Yeah, man, I've got to admit, I just love the Huracan. It's so good. It's just beautiful. I love him so much, and I'm not even mad. I'm genuinely not mad that this thing is once again coming in and ruining everything. I'm not mad, baby. It deserves it. Oh, the exhaust as well. Oh. You know, Liberty Walk on it. Basically stylize it how you want, but you know, Liberty Walk. Do it properly. And here she is. My Huracan has returned. This time it's S+, so we'll see exactly what it's like now that it's fully S+. Oh my god. Yeah, all you really have to do is max this thing out, and you get yourself possibly the best drift car, in my opinion. In smooth terms, there's just no competition whatsoever. And another good thing, another good point, because I want to give some general tips, because overall I don't think you need specifically one type of car. Oh my god, why are there so many cops everywhere? Follow the line of the road as your guide to trying to maintain a slide, maintain the position. Another mention, if you're going a little too far and you're going to hit the wall, use boost. Use your boost. And my final tip, my final general tip, which is probably one of the most important for getting a good score in the drift events, is make sure you don't reset. It sometimes will tell you that you can press up to reset, and I would highly avoid that because it does reset your multiplier. If you crash and you mess up, try and correct it. That would be the better option. Hell yeah. Police in the bin, mate. Okay, this could be sacrilege, but there is one last car I really want to try out of curiosity. Oh, can I just say, Criterion, can you please, I love this feature so much, where you can see the vocation of the vehicle. That's a Drift Pro vehicle. It helps you select the ones that you want and avoid the ones that you don't want for other events. Can we have that for multiple classes, for like a grip, for drag? Let us set them, maybe put drag tires and let us do it that way. I don't care. I love this feature and we need more of it. You knew you were thinking it too. Don't question anything. Yes. Let's check it out then. So what have we got to say? All-wheel drive slides. We should have just instant torque. No need to shift gears here. We've definitely got more of a power slide motion. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to park up. I think some more experimentation on things like this. Do you agree? Smash like and let me know. And check out this other video. Very cool.